Can you feel it pulsing through the Motor City streets? That electric buzz that makes every Lions fan's heart pound just a little faster, just a little louder? Is this the moment when everything pivots, when frustrations morph into hope, and whisperings from the shadows break wide open into the roar we've all been craving for decades? Detroit's offseason drama is heating up, and there's a name that's been fluttering from lips to headlines, planting tremors beneath the very ground of Ford Field. Smash that like button and drop your belief in the comments if you're ready for the Lions to flip the script. Because what I'm about to lay down goes beyond a simple contract negotiation. It's about the soul of a defense, the heartbeat of a team that's clawed its way through rebuilding trenches and near misses too painful to quantify. Insiders have been murmuring, sources close to the organization dropping shockwaves about a silent standoff brewing in the backfield, an anchor standing tall, refusing to be just another piece in the puzzle. Whispers of defiance, whispers of pride, whispers that if this deal doesn't reach the fair shore, the entire linebacker corps could shift, and the Lions' defensive identity might transform forever. And then it hits you, the man at the eye of the storm, Alex Anzalone. The gritty, relentless linebacker who, when on the field, embodies everything this franchise desperately needs: grit, passion, and that intangible spark turning defense into an unbreakable force. This isn't just about another season. It's about securing the linchpin of a front line that was voted the second-best linebacking group by PFF, a unit that stood toe-to-toe with the league's best, carrying the weight of a defense revamped and rising. Anzalone is more than just a player in a jersey. He's the anchor alongside Aiden Hutchinson, the stabilizing force that transforms chaos into calculated fury. Remember that game? The one that sealed the top seed, where he stormed the field and changed everything. That's the kind of impact you can't just shrug off or budget away. To stand in Detroit is to remember heartbreak etched deep into our history, those playoff door slams, the rebuilding years that stretched on like a winter freeze, and the untapped hunger of a fan base screaming for glory. Through all of it, Anzalone has been the gritty workhorse, a reminder that the Lions' soul isn't just in flashy rookies or headline makers, but in the guys who grind, who fight, and who demand what they're worth. But here's the tension. What if the front office, juggling cap space and future moves, doesn't meet his call? What if standing on his business fractures team morale, or puts a spotlight on loyalty and valuation that splits the locker room? Or, on the flip side, what if rewarding Anzalone prioritizes that underrated defense and unlocks a playoff run as ferocious and unforgettable as Barry Sanders slicing through defenses in his prime? Could this be the linchpin moment, the secret weapon that finally shocks the NFC North into submission? As the Lions prepare to enter a new chapter, with Jermar Jefferson, Brian Branch, and others looming on the roster, this unresolved contract talks is more than money. It's a battle for respect, a fight for identity, the kind that defines legacies and sets the stage for whether this off-season becomes a whisper or a roar. And if this domino falls just right, it might unleash the wildest Lions off-season in history, setting into motion everything we've dreamed about when we bought our season tickets. When we believe beyond reason that Detroit's glory wasn't just a mirage, but a destiny waiting patiently to be claimed. So lean in, because this saga is far from over, and the city, the fans, the team itself are all holding their breath for the next move from the man standing firm and saying quietly, but powerfully, it's time to pay the man. Lock arms? Detroit, this isn't just a whisper in the wind or another fleeting headline. This is the moment we rally behind a cause bigger than statistics or cap sheets, bigger than any off-season spin. Imagine if the front office caves, not because of logic, but because the fire in our hearts demands it. Alex Anzalone locked in, a defensive cornerstone who turns every snap into a crucible of passion and precision. We've seen the Lions choke under pressure before. Remember the soul-crushing 0-16 season. That black hole of despair where hope seemed chained beneath. The crushing weight of futility? We remember. We lived through it. And yet, From the ashes of that nightmare emerged sparks, those Calvin Johnson touchdown reels that sent shivers through the NFC. The furious wild card clashes where dreams dangled on the edge before heartbreak claimed its due. And who could forget that Dan Orlovsky danced into the end zone, a fleeting glimmer of joy in a sea of struggle that felt almost cruel in its rarity. Caldwell's firing was a bitter pill, a necessary purge that made way for a new vision. A fresh hope that last year's playoff run precious and fiery showed was finally within our grasp. Barry Sanders' ghost watches from the shadows, haunting. Used not with sorrow, but with a reminder of what brilliance looks like, a standard nearly mythical in its purity. Ford Field has pulsed with eruptions of noise and hope, the roars of a fan base waiting for the renaissance to awaken a pride that's bled through decades of missteps and near misses. Now, picture this, the locker room dynamics trembling on a knife's edge, loyalty tested like never before, coaches pacing in anticipation, knowing that this one contract could ripple through the entire fabric of the team's psyche. Will Hutchinson's growing legend be shadowed or amplified by Anzalone's fate? Will we see the birth of a defensive juggernaut that makes rivals in Green Bay and Chicago rethink their strategies, that reclaims the NFC North throne bloody but unbowed? Or will it fracture the unit, sowing seeds of discontent that could haunt us next season with the ghosts of what might have been? The tension tightens, the city waits, breaths held beneath the unforgiving Detroit sky. And as the sun sets behind the crumbling factories and the glistening towers of downtown, I ask you, can you hear it? The crowd rising, the stand shaken, the defiant howl of a team refusing to be forgotten or forsaken. Can you feel the collision on the horizon? The thunder that promises a Detroit nightmare for opponents and a dawn of something ferocious and new for us? The question echoes through every alley and every playoff dream. Will this be the year the Lions rewrite their story? Or just another chapter in a saga too familiar and painful to bear? Detroit, the battlefield is set, the pieces are moving. What comes next will define us, not just as a team or a city, but as a roaring force that refuses to die quietly. So gear up, take your place, and watch the saga unfold, because the roar is coming. And this time, it's not going anywhere. So, Lions, do you feel that pulse? The war drum beating louder with every tick? Because the next chapter is about to be written, and this city, this team, this family, we're going to be on the edge of our seats, screaming into the night, chasing the dream that maybe, just maybe this time, the roar we unleash will be the one they'll never forget.